It's been ages since I've done a full video on Etsy ads, and so many people are talking about Etsy ads and so many people are getting utterly confused about Etsy ads. So I've decided to do another video. As you can see, it's stop burning money using Etsy ads. The 10 red flags that you need to know to improve your Etsy ads performance, or even to know whether to use Etsy ads or not. Let's get into it. Right then, I'm going to come straight in with a bombshell. This is for all POD and digital sellers, okay? If you're new. So if you're a new POD or digital seller, don't use Etsy ads, okay? Straight in. Don't do it. Literally don't start using Etsy ads. Why? Because POD is absolutely saturated with so many sellers, millions of sellers trying to sell POD products. Digital sellers, there's millions of them, right? If you try to use Etsy ads when you're brand new selling POD or digital, you're just lighting your money, burning it, and it's just blowing away on the breeze. Don't use Etsy ads. This is what you've got to do. You've got to build organic sales, okay? Build organic sales first. Build viability first. Prove that people want to buy your POD items and your digital items first. Don't fall into the trap which all these YouTubers talking about Etsy say, which is use Etsy ads and find out what works. No, that's garbage. That is absolute garbage. Etsy will just throw your listings out for partial keyword matches, single keyword matches, where customers aren't going to buy your stuff. It's the worst thing you can do with Etsy ads. Don't do it. Just get organic sales first. When you've got organic sales, then you can sit and say to yourself, okay, all right, people like my stuff. Well, if people like my stuff, let's get it out to more people with Etsy ads. So that's the first point of 10. POD, digital, don't use Etsy ads until you've got organic viability. Let's get on to the second red flag. Right, let's take who shouldn't use Etsy ads a step further. The second red flag is, in fact, if you're a new seller, full stop. If you're a new seller, don't use Etsy ads. Okay? If you're a new seller, it's just as important, even if you're not digital or POD. You've got to prove organic viability first. You've got to make sales. You've got to be able to connect with your customers and then give you that trust, give you that money, literally give you those sales to prove that your business has some kind of viability. I like to say, when I talk about growing Etsy stores, try to get to 100 listings, right? And if you try to get to 100 listings, if you're going to get to 100 listings, you need sales, right? So if you're going to go to 100 listings, by the time you get there, you need some sales. Because if you can't prove organic viability, making sales by listing products, good photography, good video, listing products that people want to buy, how are you going to get Etsy ads to work? It's not going to work. So don't even touch or think about Etsy ads as if you're a new seller, unless you're making organic sales. That's the second red flag. No sales, don't use Etsy ads. Let's get on to red flag number 3. Right then, red flag number 3. This is something, if you've heard this on YouTube, it's a massive red flag. Don't believe this, it doesn't work. This is what everyone says. Use Etsy ads to increase rank. Okay, I hear so many people on YouTube saying this. Use Etsy ads to rank. Don't sit there and think if you use Etsy ads and you make sales, it's going to rank your products. Okay, this is critical. Ads does not cross-populate with organic search. This is critical. I'm the only one saying this on YouTube. I'm the only one saying it because I know it's true. Doesn't matter how many sales you make with ads, it doesn't feed into your organic discoverability and ranking inside Etsy. You can spend $1,000 a day on ads, it will not feed your organic ranking. They are two separate things. So when you're dealing with Etsy ads, you're dealing with Etsy ads. When you're looking at Etsy ads performance, you're looking at Etsy ads performance. And when you look at your organic performance, it's your organic. There's no blend, there's no cross-population. Each one is completely separate. So don't fall into the trap of trying to use Etsy ads to rank. It will not happen. Let's get on to red flag number 4 with Etsy ads. Number 4 then, how many sales should you have? You know, what's a red flag below the number of sales where you should step away from Etsy ads? So if you've got hundreds or thousands of sales and you've made those sales fairly quickly, so not in 10 years, that's no good either. But if you've made hundreds of sales in a couple of years, or thousands of sales in a couple of years, that's cool. That's usually okay. You will be able to use Etsy ads and use that as part of your earnings process inside your Etsy store. But if you're new and growing, what's a sales number to reach to say to yourself, okay, I could try Etsy ads? Okay, and for me, this is again just a general guide. There are so many different stores out there, so many different situations, but just as a general guide, 50 sales, generally, if you've managed 50 sales in your first 6 months to a year, try it. Just try it. I'm not saying Etsy ads will work, but you've got enough sales under your belt to prove some kind of visibility, viability, okay? So 50 sales, it's reasonable. If you've got under 50 sales, 20, 30, 15, whatever like that, you don't have enough proof that customers want to buy regularly from your store. It's this regular trust and interaction, getting above 50 sales and doing it fairly quickly. You know, 6 months is reasonable. A year, okay, try it. But if you've got 50 sales over 3 or 4 years, it's not going to work. That's not nearly enough sales. So number 4, get some sales, dozens of sales under your belt. If you don't have them, it's a red flag. Don't use Etsy ads. Let's get on to number 5. Right, red flag number 5. And this is if you're already using Etsy ads and you have no idea what to do with your budget. So this is red flag number 5. It's low budget. Okay? So here's the critical point. You must have enough budget to get whatever listings you're advertising through a complete day of advertising, right? So if you've only got $5 a day, right, you can't advertise 100 products. If you've got $5 a day, there's no way you can advertise 100 products and get them through a full day of advertising. That $5 is probably going to last 90 minutes or something like that. It's not going to last very long. So if you've only got $5 a day, don't advertise 100 products, just advertise 7 to 10. Advertise 7 to 10, see if your budget gets used. So if it gets used too quickly, drop the number to 4 to 6 and see what the number of products correlates to how much money is spent. Whatever it is, you've got to get through a complete day of advertising, otherwise there's no point. You don't know when a buyer is going to purchase. You don't know when the bulk of your market is online and spending. So if you've got a low budget, only advertise limited listings to see how many it takes to keep your budget running throughout the day. So many sellers make this mistake. They'll just burn through $5 a day and say on 100 listings and say it's not working. No, of course it's not working, because it's been exhausted in 90 minutes and Etsy's just going to throw your listings up for advertising and spend the budget. So that's number 5, huge red flag. If you're going to advertise, you've got to have enough budget to get through the day. Let's get on to number 6. Number 6, if there's a surefire way to kill your Etsy ads and just burn money, it's this. It's bad photography, right? Bad photography. You can say what you like about your products. You can scream at people until you're blue in the face how great they are. If your photography is bad, people are not going to click on your items. And if they do click on your items, you are doing your items a disservice with bad photography. You might actually put people off. If the product is dark, the photos are washed out, there's shadows, there's sunlight, you're just going to put more questions into people's heads about, you know, what do they need to know to buy the product if they can't see it correctly, if the colors aren't done correctly, if the item is too far away, you know, or dark shadow so they can't see parts of jewelry or clothes or something like that. This is a surefire way to kill your Etsy ads. You've got to take bright, well-lit photography, no sunlight, no shadows, no cutting off the products, show all angles of the product. You're trying to connect with the customer and give them the answers to the questions they have so they don't sit there typing out messages to you to ask them. You've got to get your photography right. Get your photography right, you'll get more clicks and more conversions. That's number 6. Let's move on to number 7 in this red flag list. Number 7, it's even simpler. It's the brother of photography, video. No product videos. No video. If you don't have video, how on earth are you going to get people, convince them with ads when you're pushing your products into people's eyes on their screens and they get to your listings and they look at the images and there's no video? As customers, just think like a buyer, think like customers. If we, you know, as customers, if we see a product video, we're far more likely to buy because that we get that subconscious connection with the product. Ah, that's how wide the product is. Ah, that's what's inside the bag. These are the pockets. Ah, that's what the t-shirt looks like on the model. Ah, the necklace looks like this, right? Huge red flag. Don't bother using Etsy ads if you don't have listing videos on the products you're advertising. You're literally burning money. Take the time. Even if you only do one listing, if you only do this work on one listing and then advertise it, you can at least say to yourself, you've got all your ducks in a row. You've done everything you can. You've got to put product video in your listings to run Etsy ads to maximize your chances. Right, the last 3 are all gold, so stick with this, all gold. Number 8 coming up. Right, Etsy ads, red flag number 8. Really simple. If your ROAS is under 4, you're probably losing money. ROAS, it's return on advertising spend, right? ROAS. So if you spend $1 on advertising, you need to be getting $4 back. This is just a general guide. You need to work out the numbers and crunch them yourself, but just as a general guide, if it's under 4, more often than not, especially when it comes to print on demand and things like that, you're losing money. If you make your products yourself, there's probably a bit of margin here. You could probably go down to 3, something like that. Maybe, I don't know. You've got to do the numbers. But as a general guide, $4 has got to come in for every dollar you spend on advertising, so you can be fairly confident that you're making money. When I look at clients' Etsy ads statistics, I see products that are losing money. So when it's got an advertising, when they're looking at their product, they've spent $1 and they've got $0.6 back. They're losing money. You're just losing money, and you can check this any time. Go into the stats and look. If your return is lower than 1, it says 0.9 or below, you're losing money. And even if it is 1 or 1.5 or 1.7, you're still probably losing money because of the cost of your products, the postage and so on. So important. Look for a ROAS of 4 as a general guide to see if you're making money. Okay, let's get on to number 9 and number 10. More gold coming. Right, red flag number 9 for Etsy ads. This is just straight up. Don't use negative keywords. Okay, so Etsy Ads allows you to remove keywords that you believe don't apply to your product and therefore you don't want them showing for ads, right? So, for example, if you sell a t-shirt, you wouldn't want the word knife, right? Just as an example. Technically all good, but the problem is, if you use negative keywords, you've got to trust Etsy to do the job correctly. And this is where all this falls over. Because personally, and I've been doing this job 10 years, I don't trust Etsy when it comes to knocking out keywords, but keeping the keywords you want them to use, right? So if you put, let's just say you put knife t-shirt, you don't want that, right? Knife t-shirt, you're saying, well, I don't want these keywords. You've got to trust Etsy to still use this keyword for other keywords that the customers type in. And based on what I've seen and the work that I've done with clients, I don't trust it. So don't use negative keywords. Just leave it alone, okay? Because Etsy might be taking out keywords that you do want them to use. Keep it simple. Don't touch it, because you could sit there and write huge lists of keywords that you don't want to use, and we've got no way of testing or proving that they're doing all this correctly. So I would rather just leave it as it is and don't use negative keywords. Right, let's get on to number 10. It's the biggest piece of information I can give you to avoid red flags and burning money with Etsy ads. Number 10 coming up. Right then, number 10. This is something I see Etsy sellers doing all the time with Etsy ads. You must give your listing in Etsy ads 100 clicks. 100 clicks to meet your ROAS, your return on advertising spend, the $4 or thereabouts that you're looking for. 100 clicks, let me be clear so you understand this. 100 clicks for a physical product is $20 to $40. You've got to be prepared to spend per product. That's what you're going to spend. You're going to spend 100 to use 100 clicks. You're going to spend $20 to $40. If it's digital, you're probably going to spend 8 to 20. All right? So you need to give your product 100 clicks to meet your ROAS. If it meets your ROAS, you keep advertising it, no problem. If the product doesn't get there, so if you don't meet your ROAS after 100 clicks, you spent your $20 to $40, you've spent your 8 to 20, it's not going to get there. And you're wasting money. So these are the limits. Once you get to these limits, move on, deactivate this product, advertise something else. Trust me, I've been doing this 10 years. Try it for yourself and see. 100 clicks is more than enough. If it's going to get there, it will get there within 100 clicks. Obviously, this doesn't include seasonal items. So we're coming into Christmas. So if you're coming into Christmas and you start advertising Christmas stuff, well, you know, it's September. I don't know when your traffic's going to pick up for your Etsy ads. And if you advertise too early, then your clicks aren't going to convert, are they? Because people are going to click on it, oh, that's nice. I'll buy that in 3 months' time. So remember seasonality products, that's different. But general products, evergreen, $20 to $40 for physical, 8 to 20 for digital. You've got to give it this time. And if you don't have the money or the budget, don't do it. You've got to give time to these listings to prove if they do or don't sell. So get into my comments. Let me know if you're using Etsy ads. Let me know if this is helpful. Do you want more of this type of content? Okay. And as always, if you need to work with me, don't guess, don't wait. The booking button's coming up on your screen now. This gets you to a free discovery call where we talk about your Etsy business and how I can help you in consultations or mentoring to get those sales and make a success of your Etsy business. So I look forward to catching you in a consultation, and I look forward to catching you in the comments. Cheers.